Alright, call Halayim Yah, Slaki, call Halayim La, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Ha, Rakah Kudash, double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well of Yasha Allah. Peace and blessings to the faithful elect of Yasha Allah. Alright? All praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Ha, Rakah Kudash. This is your brother Shariyat, Nawasah, Shaman, and just want to get into a quick lesson real quick. A little tool for so-called blacks, aka Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native American Indians, because you're the Israelites, you're truly the people of God, and this is why everybody hates you, and etc. So, we know that, but pretty much with that, it is a tool that comes with you, and that's the scriptures, the Bible. You know, it's kind of likened unto the movie Thor, the movie it's kind of likened unto the movie Thor. It's kind of likened unto the film, the Book of Eli. How they're the only ones that pretty much could yield what makes them who they are, their purpose. Eli having, well, Thor, I'll start with having a hammer, right? He's the only one that can yield it, but he's also able to yield it in a way, in a masterful way, like the scriptures tell us to strive for the mastery, right? And then so I'm gonna tie that home with the final example, the Book of Eli. Ultimately, straight to the point. His purpose is yielding the Bible. He's the only one who can yield the Bible, because ultimately he was the only one that could actually read it. You watch the end of the film. But anyway, and that was spiritual with so-called white men and Jews, the elites, subliminally were trying to, message you. Now, with just having the Bible, obviously, it's likened unto us being like Thor, is our hammer. Now, the thing with Thor and the thing with Eli, they're both able to yield it in a manner that no one else could. You know, um, like for example, the girl that walked with him on the Book of Eli, she ultimately was brought in, but she could never really get out of things he was able to get out of it, even when she was trying to understand it. Which she did actually go on to understand, but she still wasn't Eli because of the way he was able to yield it, and that just comes with pretty much the Father showing you things and really dealing with you. This is something likened unto that. So without any further ado, it's kind of the same thing with, let's just say with Thor, him practicing, not only being the only one that could pick it up, but getting good with it, to where he's efficient with it and precise with it, everything's acute. That's kind of how you got to get with the scriptures, so you can truly get all the nutrients out of it, like how they tell you to chew your. The reason why they tell you to chew your food before you swallow it, because you're breaking the food down, and you're pretty much secreting the nutrients out of it, right? To where you just swallow it, you know. And the best way to get something in your system fast is eating it, because it just goes straight to your bloodstream. So if it's properly broken down into nothing but nutrients, you swallow nothing but nutrients. You're efficiently becoming healthy because you eat uh, for nurturement, nourishment. You don't just eat to get full. You do eat to live. You know, um, so they say. So once again, spiritually, what is likened unto how it says. Let me see. Let me get this scripture real quick. This is Sirach. It might be in the book of Ezekiel. Yeah, let me get Ezekiel real quick. Book of Ezekiel, it tells us in the third chapter, I believe. It says, in the first verse, Ezekiel 3:1, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll, and go and speak unto the house of Israel, right? So I open my mouth and he calls me to eat that roll. Now, you simply got to eat. That's just simply taking the word in, read it, get it in your mind, right? So you got food for thought. Your mind can chew on it, break it down, you meditate on it, you digest it, and then, with that comes understandings, revelations, realizations, whatever you want to call it, epiphanies, etc., right? But that can only happen once you take something in, you eat it. So first and foremost, the roll is the Bible, so you gotta get a Bible. Then you eat it simply by breaking it down. I'm slocky, simply by reading it. He didn't tell you you don't just go get a loaf of bread, and you just swallow a whole. You gotta properly break it down. He didn't say be a fool. You know, um, all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta assess what's proper for you to do. He said eat, right? So that's lawful, right? But it's not expedient for you to just swallow it, right? You're not gonna you'll choke. You're not gonna get what you possibly can get out of it. You won't get the nutrients out of it. That's what this is for. Now, this is gonna help you do that. There's a color code chart by the Spirit Father revealed how to properly not only just read the scriptures and eat on it, but how to truly teaching me this more so of just this is beyond just eating. Jake likes to just eat and get full. This is going into understanding why they tell us to chew our food to get and going into not eating to just get full, but for nourishment. So I basically he took me beyond just looking at the words, just reading the words straight through. Just reading a verse straight through, and probably even linking it up and doing all those things accurately. But it even go even more precisely with the words. So word by word, you know, everything counts. You know, to get every piece of nutrient out of it. But before I get that color code, this is something brothers can use. Uh, 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 that's basically to give you basically how this happened. So this is the color code chart. Uh, Brothers would highlight um, things that stand out or things that link up, and probably do it in a certain color, to where they know what it is. But it's inefficient when you just marking everything in a, let's say, a complete passage. I done seen brothers dang near have a whole chapter, you know, just all together in yellow or something like that. And there's so many different pieces in there to where you'll overlook that. What's the point of truly, um, let's say, eating some cashews if you're not gonna properly chew them to truly get what you can get out of them. What's the point? What's the point of if you're just gonna go about it in a nutshell way. This is why we continuously stay students, and the Lord is abundant. It said, "Who can search out His knowledge? Uh, 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 his ways are unsearchable, man. So you gotta go beyond and get a little bit deeper. You can't just be. It wasn't wise. I used to do that. It's not wise to just mark everything as one color, and you just because it just caught your eye. Man, let's go in and let's go with this. Or but eventually a time should come when you notice key words. You know, but the house of Israel will not hearken unto me, unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. So, uh, 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 for all the house of Israel are right impudent and hard-hearted, you know, because in there you picking up facts. You know what I'm saying? You're picking up prophecies. You know, you're picking up, but the house is not talking about um, your dwelling place. It's actually talking about seed, but you would flip right over there and you wouldn't look at it. If you once you if you're just reading through it, you're just taking it and you just swallowing it, and you know how you get on your child, you be like, you didn't even chew your food, for you choke, and choking is of the word. You know what I'm saying? That's of this truth. Brothers choke the word, meaning they fall out because they didn't really get what it was about. They didn't really get it. So you don't really get it, the nutrients that you're supposed to get out of something if you're not properly going about this the right way. If you're not properly also reading the right way, you know, and we use the highlighters to help us read, remember, understand, and notice things. But it's very level one. I want to say it like I'm on some level, but this is something the Father showed me. If just by marking everything all over, and you're passing off, each and every word was used and put together for a reason. The house of Israel. So now you understand it's a seed line, and that seed is of the man Israel. That same seed. See that? Versus just reading the house of Israel. It's just the house of Israel, just all Israelites. You know what I'm saying? You get a deeper understanding when you pay attention to the words. So that's how this came about. Color code, earthly things. So you can use simply, you can use green for earthly things you may notice in the scriptures. Let me get some real quick. For example, well, I'm gonna give my examples after this. I'll come back. So earthly things would be, you can find earthly things being likened unto things you're gonna go through just in the flesh, things and just dealing with the flesh. So that goes into medicine as well, which is like herbal, and then for your finances. It's a brother who realized with this he could use the scriptures, the prophecies to play the stock market. You know what I'm saying? So those those scriptures, those words that he used to understand that, I will mark in green because that's what you can. That's something he's dealing with in an earthly sense, in a worldly sense. You know what I'm saying? Prophecy being this pink, because I have I recommend the brand to brothers as well of a highlighter pack because I pretty much a lot. This came about just with a lot of trial and error, marking your pages all up, or kind of mess the pages up. Highlighters be too thick, they bleed too much, bleed through. So I went through a lot of different highlighters to where this became like a science almost. And the Father just took me even further once I seen how good they were, by showing me to look at every word. This is how my mind works. It wants every piece, and you notice things like that. People just read context and don't know there's a thing called subtext. As an elder, matter of fact, the priest Danyala, he's not of GMS, but he's good at what he's good at. You know, um, really heavy in history, but he actually brought that to my. He was used to bring that to my attention. You know, he brought that to my attention through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, going into context, subtext, and he didn't tell you what it was. He said you were to just that would be your homework. You go look it up, and I went and looked it up. And a lot of times, when you get realization, it's really a subtext. It's not something necessarily being said, but it's something you realized about something you dealt with on a top layer, and you realize a deeper level, underlying level to it. It's kind of like subliminal messages. You know what I'm saying? So something is said and shown, but it's not directly saying it, but you can kind of see that's what they're hinting at. That's what subtext is. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what this process right here goes into. So I really don't have too much more to say. I'll get my examples after this. Your purple right here, you have the Most High, and I also, like I said, show brothers the brand that you can get every single, like all these colors right here are specific colors in this pack of highlighters that you can get from Target. Prayers, you know what I'm saying? The little things you notice when you're paying attention to your sword. It's like when you're sharpening your blade. You know what I'm saying? these things you notice. You know what I'm saying? On a much more detailed, microscopic level, right? Then you got this brown going into geolocations, places in the world. So, and we know it's a lot of locations given to us in the scriptures. Fact. So words like is. I will key in using this color on things that say is or cannot. You know what I'm saying? Israelites. So all Israelite women, men, women, children, you know, etc. When you see the nation, I'll use that. And then specifically, I even got more specific with it. I'll do probably a volume 2 to it as well. But I'll keep it simple now. This is nations, and then this is heathen nations, and then this is the feast. Because the feast you can get all throughout the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? You can get the feast and the Apocrypha as well. So I'll come right back. So, key example. See that? Wherefore I prayed. So I'm put that in the prayer color. You know. But we're gonna get way more specific real quick. In these pages so much. Alright. Real quick. See. I'm gonna do a volume 2 to this. So it's a fact the Lord has a name. See that? And I usually will mark that with this. You know, this is the highlighter right here. You know what I'm saying? Because we know purple to be one of the Father's, you know, favorite colors, because he gave us specific colors for the tabernacle, right? How he wanted the temple adorned that he would dwell in. You know, purple was one of them, right? That's a jewel right there. That's like a higher level I started doing. More precise thing. So I can, you know, specific. Because you don't got to mark everything up, you know? You keep your page clean. So the Lord, I will mark right there. Like, for example, I could do this right now. So, you know, the Lord. Wipe it off, it's clean. It don't bleed, these don't bleed through anything. And then I could take, because the color's going to help you identify as like signs. You know, it's kind of like where Esau gets the idea of racial profiling. So when he sees black, he thinks opportunity. He thinks drugs and possible him making his quota, because Jake is probably riding dirty. And just when we see so-called white people, we think the devil, you know, just because that's what has been, those colors, you know, can be used to do, you know, give you understanding when you see them. So I don't know, when I see Job, I think Israelite, because you got to think, for brothers coming into the truth, you got to really get out all of that folly that you had in you in the world. You know what I'm saying? So you probably still seeing some of the, this is a so-called white man book. So eventually you come out of that, man. You know? So these are high things. I don't got to mark this all up and highlight it because it's talking about a whirlwind right here. I just mark whirlwind. And I identify it as a high thing. You know? So-called UFO. Behemoth. You know what I'm saying? That's a high thing. That's an animal that people have been trying to, we know that's something about a dinosaur, right? So, yeah, I definitely got like right here. So, this is a good example. This is Psalms 34:7. The angel of the Lord encampeth around, like I can even get encampeth if I wanted. It says round about them that fear him, right? So you will mark fear, because what is fear? Fear goes into keeping the commandments, man, doing what the Lord tell you. So you can mark that as the orange right there. You know, so that do what he say. You know that, understand that just by looking at the color immediately. Because you're going to program what these colors mean in your mind. And then him will be that purple, Yahweh. But, and, so they not only encamp, it's a fact, because it say, and, that's key to know. And delivered them. Because angels always around. You know what I'm saying? They could be around you and let you get taken. That's key to know. Understand. So you want to know both of them. Not only are they around me, but it say those that fear him, they not only encamped around them, but they delivered them. Right? So I gotta mark this as something I know is I could just mark shall. Because shall, you know, it represents basically something that's gonna happen. You know. Wait on it. You know. You can see like the little indentures I got. That's like something new I started doing. This is how I basically started doing it. So, you know, Jerusalem. You see the color is like a light color. That's the feast color. And it was winter. Right? Now, that's something earthly. So you watch what I do with this, because I don't have it yet. You know? So you keep your stuff clean. And you can have a precise understanding. Like the Lord gives us seasons. Seasons talked about in the scriptures. See? But that'll fly right over your head if you ain't paying attention like that, you know? You just swallowing the roll. You're not chewing your food, man. So this is like a tool to help chew the scriptures, man. You know? Israelite. That's a location. Because Solomon's porch, you can find it in the Zondervan dictionary. There's a temple. Yahushua walked in the temple. That's a place, a temple. In Solomon's porch. Specific place. See? Shall never. Because okay, I could have broke that up and put that in a fact. Because it's a promise already. Shall, prophecy. Never. That's true fact. Perish. You could put that in green. You know? Because truly, when you perish, it's kind of it's first and foremost talking about your flesh. You know what I'm saying? Because you know your spirit is immortal. Period. Who we truly are. Neither shall any man. His flesh just have to be made immortal now. So this is kind of going into immortality. See that? Just off breaking these words down. So yeah, man, that's pretty much, you know, man, my father, who's the father, Yahweh, which gave them me. Could mark that as Yahweh Shah. That with that red, which is right there. You know, and no man is able to pluck them, which you will mark as a high thing. Because he's not literally talking about physically someone taking them out of his hand. It could be spiritually. Someone plucking you out of Yahweh Shah's or out of the Father's hand could be by them playing on your mind. So you will mark that as a high thing, because when it's marked as a high thing, you know it goes. It's a rabbit hole. It can go deep. You know, it can go into it's an abundance. You think in abundance when you have high things. You know, and eternal life. It's not something just simple. That's a high thing. Eternal life. So pluck them. You could probably think about, people, demons hopping on you, working on your mind. Also called woman. Your old man. You know what I'm saying? No man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. So I'll mark that as a high thing. And I'll do it now just to stand down on that. Because you can't go wrong. Because it couldn't be, you know what I'm saying, talking about, I can't mark how I usually do, you know what I'm saying, holding this in my hand, but, it's not it couldn't be an earthly thing, because that would mean someone's physically doing it, you know what I'm saying. No, it's spiritual, you know. But if you want to take it to a higher level, which we'll go into in like a volume 2, Lord willing, I'll do this. I could do that. That's another option the Father showed me with this. I can outline it with the green, and it's not a drawn out process. It's very efficient. It helps a lot because someone could kill you. That's when it will become earthly. You know what I'm saying? When you was doing the work, someone could kill you. You know, so it just doing this when you read this help you have a better understanding. Then when you go and talk about, say you bring it out, John 10 and 29, because that's what this is. You know, you will be able to go that far with explaining it. No one will be able to kill you and stop you from being the elect. No one will be able to work your even if that was ordained for you, right? No one could kill your flesh and ultimately take you out of the Father's hands. And then another thing would be, you know, demons couldn't take you out, nothing. You know what I'm saying? The elect can't be full. So Lord willing, this has been edifying. You know what I'm saying? I'll put a picture of the Marcus, you know what I'm saying, as well. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.